Hi, this is Katie. In today's video, I'm gonna talk about self-esteem and having like a positive outlook even when things suck. Yeah, so it's gonna kind of be like that topic. Don't know where the video's headed, don't have any notes, but this is just something I want to talk about today. So I know that my channel really started as a road trip, living in your car, sleeping in your car kind of channel. And there definitely have been times in my life where I did not want to sleep in my car. The first time that I slept in my car for a long period of time by myself, it was like a week and a half by myself, was in Portland like 6 years ago, and I didn't want to. I've told this story a few times. I didn't want to live in my car. I worked 2 jobs. I couldn't stay where I was staying anymore, and so I stayed in my car for a week and a half. And then one of my coworkers found out that I was staying in my car, and so she offered for me to stay in her guest room for a month while I saved up money to get my own apartment, which is what happened, and it was very, very sweet of her to do that. When I stayed in my car then, because I didn't want to, it was kind of hard to have like a positive outlook on it, you know what I mean? Since I sleep in my car now because I want to, it's obviously much easier to have a positive outlook on it because it's my choice, it's what I want to be doing. But that's just kind of with anything in life. If it's your choice, it's easier to have a better outlook on it. And if something's forced on you, you guys know, like I hurt my shoulder and it is really, really bringing me down mentally because I didn't choose it. It hurts. I mean, it's physically painful, but also it's mentally just draining because I'm like, I didn't choose this and it's hurting my life in a way that I didn't want, didn't expect. I didn't do it on purpose. It was an accident at a chiropractor that caused it. It makes it hard to have a positive outlook on your life, to have good self-esteem, to have good self-worth if you are relying on outside factors, if you are relying on things that you cannot help, that you cannot control, that you cannot prevent. There are tons of things in life that you can control, prevent, act on, that are within your control. There are also a ton of things that aren't. For example, me getting a cheeseburger for lunch today, if I did that sounds real good. That's a choice that I have. How long it takes for my neck to get better and my shoulder to get better from that chiropractic accident is a mild choice because it's my choice to go to doctors. But how long it takes the doctors to help is not my choice. The fact that it happened is not my choice. The fact that I can't be on the road right now, it's kind of my choice because I am choosing my priorities. So I'm choosing not being in pain over being on the road. And that's a lot of it too, is choosing your priorities. You guys know I used to talk more about the motivationally stuff. So if you like this kind of stuff, let me know in the comments because I will absolutely do more of it. I used to do more. Don't know why I haven't been recently, but probably because I have been a little bit more down, and it is hard to self-motivate. It's possible, but it's hard, especially when outside circumstances are bad or getting worse, and you are allowing them to affect you. So you guys know, I think a lot of you guys know that I'm pretty harsh when it comes to stuff like that. When it comes to, you get to choose your life, you get to choose your priorities. If you really want to travel, but you're saying that you can't because you have kids, that's an excuse. That's not a real reason. If you don't want to because you want your kids to stay in the same school for 12 years and you don't want to take them on the road, that's a reason. But saying because I have kids is an excuse. If you say that you're too tired to go out to dinner with your friend, but then a different friend calls and asks you out to dinner and you say yes, saying that you're too tired to the first friend is an excuse, not a reason. You just didn't really want to. And so you made up what sounded like a reason to make you feel better and to make them feel better. You guys know I'm pretty strict on if you don't want to do it, just don't do it. You don't need to lie about it. You don't need to make up excuses. You don't need to do any of that. I know it like softens the blow, like if you're like saying no to someone, but also you could just be like, oh no, I don't want to today, maybe another night, whatever. Anyway, I'm going on such a tangent. This has nothing to do with anything. Are you surprised? Probably not. So in my point of view, the word happy, I use it in a circumstantial way. I think that joy comes from God, and I think that how I differentiate the terms, happiness comes from circumstances. So I'm really happy because I'm getting a cheeseburger for lunch. That's how I differentiate those. I don't know if that's even like actually logically, definitively like the definitions, but that's just how I kind of separate them in my brain a little bit. Joy, like true joy, does not come from your circumstances. It does not come from your job, your spouse, your living situation, how much stuff you own, how much money you have. It doesn't come from anything outside. It comes from God. It comes from you being at peace with your life, with your circumstances, kind of accepting that whole accept what you can't change and change what you can, or just accept the fact that even if you don't want to change it, accept that too, or shut up about it or change it, you know? But I think it's so rare nowadays to have true joy. I think it's wonderful. I think that the fact that we can be joyful and calm and safe through Jesus is amazing. And even if you're not religious, just through whatever you believe in, or just through yourself, you know, it's amazing that we can do that. But most people don't. And most people really like, hold on, let's do like this. My arm's getting tired. Is that lighting horrible? Is that better? A lot of people decide and judge themselves and decide if they're worthy or not based on the things that they have, and based on if they have a boyfriend or girlfriend, or based on how much money they have, or based on their social status, or based on how many followers you have on Instagram. And some of that you can control, right? But it's still fleeting. The danger of putting your worth in other things, other people, material things, money, stuff, your job. And again, some of that is within your control, some's not, but that's besides the point in this, like what I'm talking about right this second. All of it is fleeting. It could all go away tomorrow. And I learned that as a young age. My house went on fire when I was 13. And so I learned from a young age, okay, so literally tomorrow, I might not have any of my stuff anymore. And I think it was a good lesson, maybe not in that way. It was not a pleasant experience to be in a house fire, but I think that was a really good lesson for me because, well, first of all, it did just, which psychologically even makes sense, very quickly, I was like, I want everything, you know, because I was like, everything was just taken from me. Not everything, but a lot of my stuff was taken from me. So now I want everything that I can possibly get. It kind of flipped that way, which psychologically makes sense. But when I got a little bit older, I really realized that I'm like, actually, I don't need any of this. I'm not really attached to my stuff. I like things, you know, I like my purse, you know, like I like these, I have like 3 lipsticks on right now. I like these. And I absolutely still get caught up in the want, the desire, I really, really want that new lip gloss. That happens to me like semi often, where I just like get my brain wrapped around something and I'm like, I want that and I will not be happy until I have it. When I have that, that's when I'll be the best version of me. That's when I'll be really satisfied with my life. And then I get it. And then I might be happy for an hour with it, you know, without the happy, you know, for an hour with it. And then I'll move on to something else that I'm like, when I have that, that's when my life will be real good. That's when my depression will go away. And that's when I'll make all this money. And that's when I'll be at peace. And that's when I won't cry every day, when I have that one thing. I get that one thing, might make me happy for 20 minutes. And then it's, oh, no, wait, no, it's this thing. That's not going to fill you. It's not. It doesn't fill me, doesn't fill anyone. And if they say that it does, they're lying. That's why that new Ariana Grande song about the money, about like you say money doesn't buy happiness, it's just because you didn't have enough money or something. Like, I really hope that people don't take that song seriously, because sure, money absolutely can help. You know, like when your bills are paid off, when you don't live paycheck to paycheck, or when you can even just afford food, it absolutely helps 100%. I totally get that. But having like more money, like there's studies that are like having money up to $70,000 a year can make your life better, again, because you can afford food, you can afford to pay your bills, you can afford to like buy new clothes for your children. But after $70,000, it drastically decreases about how much more money makes you feel a little bit better about your life. But anyway, so outside things, including people, which is really hard to accept, but it's just true, in my opinion, you know, focusing all of your being on outside things, on getting outside things, on having other people in your life, having people want you, or getting promoted or whatever, focusing all of that's when I'll have self-worth. That's when I'll feel better about myself. It probably won't work, especially because everything can be lost. So if you're like, once I get that promotion, that's when I'll be like real good. I'll be real fulfilled. I'll be so excited about my life. Everything will be perfect. What if you lose your job in a year? Then what? Do you not have self-worth anymore? You know, like that's kind of what I'm saying. And so my self-worth is garbage. I think a lot of that has to be internal. It has to be. And again, if you're religious, with God, your self-worth is through God. And if you're not religious, I still don't think that your self-worth is through your, you know, like your brand new computer and your promotion at work. I still think it's within you. And it's tricky and rough when I talk about other people, because you want to say like, no, I can rely on my family, you know, like that's my rock, my, you know, like family. I hate saying this, but even family isn't like 100% guaranteed. And I'm not even really just talking about divorces or fights or like just kind of like losing touch, but also people pass away. And so if you're putting all your self-worth into your, you know, like your sister, I'm not saying that like you shouldn't be sad or heartbroken if they pass away or if you don't talk anymore. That's not what I'm saying. Absolutely, that's what love is. I totally get that. I just mean more, if we're not ourselves without these outside factors, then we're not really ourselves ever. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying to not rely on your family, not to love your family and your friends. That's not what I mean at all. I just mean more that people cheat, people leave, people lie. So if all of your self-worth is in your relationship, that can still crumble. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm really, really not. And I'm not trying to even be cynical. I'm just trying to be honest. It can crumble. It can go a different way than you expected, you know? And so it's important, again, absolutely, I think relying on people. So I think it's so important. I think loving people and having people love you is really, really important. And I do think that that could be part of helping you, absolutely. But I mean the core of your self-worth. That's what I mean. I don't mean like, don't let anyone affect you. It's not what I mean at all. I mean the core of your self-worth. Having that in other people, other things, your job, your money, is not going to... I'm not gonna even say not, because this is just my opinion, obviously. You can disagree with me, that's totally fine. I don't think that it will really, really fulfill you. I think that there are certain actions and certain deeds and certain experiences that we can have that can fulfill us, and that can be a job. It can be part of it. It can absolutely be part of it. I like doing YouTube. I like making videos like this, you know? Like sometimes YouTube is really hard to do mentally, but I like make videos like this. I like talking to you guys and about this kind of stuff and reading your comments about this kind of stuff. But if all of my self-worth was in it, it's just not the healthiest thing. It's good as an addition. It's good as a part, you know, like the carrots in a stew or whatever. But I mean more the core of who you are. And that goes, again, back to the self-esteem, self-worth, which I think are a little bit different. Those have to at least start. Even also the majority has to be with you and God. It's so hard. I have really severe mental illnesses. They bring me down a lot. I have very bad thoughts and my emotions are completely garbage. But I'm one of those people who, I don't really know if I've ever even talked about this. I'm one of those people who has constantly racing negative thoughts about, ooh, I don't want to cry. I did not make this video thinking that I was going to start crying. I have almost consistent thoughts that I'm not even not good enough. I'm not good. I'm not worthy. I don't know if I've talked about this before on here. I don't understand why any of my friends talk to me. I don't ever understand why people date me. I think that my family only loves me because they have to. I think anyone else who tells me they love me is lying. And that's on me. That's not on them. They didn't do anything wrong. It's not on them. It's on me. I don't feel lovable. I don't feel worthy. But that's on me because my self-worth is low. And that's my fault. I cannot expect, and I do, but I can't expect other people to make that go away or to make it better. If I'm dating someone, and if you've ever dated me, you know this, I'm gonna ask you 4,000 times a day if you like me. And it's gonna get real annoying. And I need to stop doing that. It's gonna take a while because I've always done it. It takes a while to make big changes like that, you know? But it's really hard for me to believe people and to think that I'm worthy. But that's on me. I have to work on my self-worth more between me and God. I have to realize that, like, I'm a child of God. That's why I'm here, and that's what I'm doing here, like on earth. And when you, which is again what I've been doing, even though logically I know better, and logically I'm telling you to not follow in my footsteps because it's not the best, it's not good to rely on other people for your own self-worth. It's not. I do it though. I do it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm perfect and my self-worth is perfect and I never do anything, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm saying this and really, really realizing it as I'm telling you. It's almost like a confession-y kind of thing of like, I do this and I know it doesn't work for me. And of course we like when people say they like us and they love us, right? And that will make us feel good, especially if we also like them. But again, it's more the having all of your self-worth into that is not healthy. Having all your self-worth rely on how many times a day your boyfriend tells you that he loves you is not healthy, and that's not going to change you. It could add to the self-worth that you already have, but it will not give you full self-worth. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense about all this. But that's really something that I need to work on, because I know that it doesn't help, but it's just something that I've been doing, and I haven't really been conscious until right now, honestly, that like, wait, I do that and I know that that's not healthy, so why am I doing it? And so that is something that I'm going to change. But anyway, so self-esteem with living in the car, let's go back to that. Is this video, my gosh, this video is so like all over the place. So for some people, they live in their car, not because they want to, but just because it's kind of either the best option that they have at the moment, or they're kind of in between something and this is just literally like all they have. When you get in that kind of situation, it is so hard to keep that self-worth. Again, especially if your self-worth used to be based on your money or your job or your house. If you lose all that, where's your self-worth? Which again is why it's so important. And again, I'm not good at this. My self-worth is garbage, but it's so important, and hope like maybe we can work on this together, you know, like, cause I'm sure some of you guys are in similar boats of like, you just feel like garbage. Like you just don't like yourself and you just don't feel lovable. You just don't, you know, like you want to change, but it's really overwhelming and it's scary and you don't know how. Take small steps. We can do this together. Absolutely. It's hard. It's gonna be real hard. It's gonna take a long time, but we can. So if your self-worth is within you with God, just even within your own, like, you know what? We're all here. We're all on this earth. We're all equally capable of at least doing some of the things that we want to be doing. Not all, but most of us are capable of doing the things, some of the things that we want to be doing. But when you get thrown into a situation that you really, really don't want to be in, and you don't have personal or religious self-worth prior to that, oh my gosh, it's going to be a million times harder. Because you're like, well, now my situation has changed, and it's a situation I don't want to be in, and it's a situation that other people look down on, and it's a situation that makes me feel not good enough. And so that means I am not good enough. That means that I'm not like anyone else. That means that I'm not the person that I would look up to. If your ideal person has a corner office, makes $150,000 a year, and that's what you had, and then you lost it, you are losing who you are in a sense, because that's what you're focusing so much on. It's so hard. Most people, it's really, really hard to like hang out by yourself, you know, like for like a long period of time. And a lot of us don't really know ourselves. And partially it's like, well, I don't like me, so I don't want to know anymore. Or, well, I'm just going to do what everyone else does because that seems to make them happy, and so I'm just going to do that. Instead of being like, wait, but what actually, and happy, you know, but like what actually brings me any sort of happiness, joy, fulfillment? Like what brings me that fulfillment? So it might not be that corner office like you thought it was, you know, it might be something else. But again, regardless, I think it just needs to go deeper than that. And so to really have like true self-worth has to go deeper. And this is, yeah, if you were looking for like a 10 tricks on having high self-esteem, blah, 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 like that's not this video, because it is so hard and it's so tricky and it's a lot of work. But the reality is it's definitely possible. But personally, I think that it has to come from within. And again, some point, if you're religious, through God. If you're not, still something on a more personal level, because everything else is fleeting. And I'm not saying it will. I'm not saying that your marriage will end so you cannot rely on your husband. I'm not saying that you will lose your job so you can't rely on that for funds. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that they can. And that some of the things will end. Absolutely, they will. You know, like I can't have all my, oh my God, I hate saying this. I cannot have all of my, like, everything with my car, because eventually this car is going to stop working. It's a car. All cars stop working. Or at least stop working in a way where it would be smart and safe for me to drive it around as much as I do, you know? So having real strong levels of attachment to things is going to cause pain. Having real strong attachments to people, I think is absolutely fine, because I'm very big, high risk, high reward. If you don't put yourself out there and risk getting hurt, then you're probably not going to experience that level of true love and commitment. In my opinion. Some people don't agree, and that's totally fine. Or some people would rather, like, I'm gonna keep my distance because I would rather kind of just not really get hurt and maybe not really be in love. I'm good in the middle. That's totally fine. I'm not. I want that like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I lived without this person love for whoever I marry, but then also even for your family. It's like, I love these people, and that's amazing, and that's wonderful. All I'm saying is that I don't think it's the safest option to put 100% of your self-worth in other people. That's all I'm saying. I think it's wonderful to have people who are close to you and who can add to that and who can help you. Absolutely. I think it's so important to have people in our lives that we can rely on and who want to build us up, and have friends that want to build us up and who are supportive. I think that's so important. But I think a lot of it has to come from within. No matter what you look like, no matter if you're single or not, how many friends you have, what kind of job you have, being like, yeah, this is my life, and this is, you know, like, I'm proud of it. Pride's not good, but you know what I mean? Like, you're like, yep, I'm secure in these decisions, I'm secure in this life. But it has to be like, I'm secure in all this, but also knowing that in 10 years, a lot of this will probably be different, but you know what, I'm gonna be secure in that too. And so it's not relying on your job for your only sense of purpose, but it's being able to rely on your job for part of that, but also just really just accepting the fact that this could go away, but I'm still gonna be okay. That's kind of the whole point. This is a really long video, I know. Like, but that's kind of the whole point. I think that's when you really know that your self-worth and self-esteem are okay. I could lose XYZ and I'll still be okay. I'm still me, you know? Like, I could lose my car and it's like, okay, wait, but is that my identity? No. My identity is Katie Carney, child of God. All right, let's get back to like here's the final thought, okay? Because the whole point of this video was to essentially talk about just kind of the idea of how can you live in your car when you don't want to and still have okay self-esteem. Not me, but like, how could some of you, or if you got in that situation, if you got in a situation you don't like, how can you still feel okay about yourself? It really comes down to knowing that you are more than your situations, that you are loved by God. Even if you have no one else, you're loved by God. And that's a pretty amazing one person to have love you, or one being to have love you. God, like, that's a pretty good one, I would say, the best one. And that's like just a fact. Like, he loves all of us. But it is a definite change in your mindset to not let all your circumstances affect who you are and like what you're worth and who you are as a person. Because your situations will change. You can have great situations, you can have low situations, but you're not only you when you have the great situations, you're you all the time. And so if you are a very kind person and you help a lot of people and you are ambitious and you have good qualities, and I'm sure you also have some bad qualities, you are still that person no matter what your circumstances. And it's important to focus on that and not let the circumstances change who you are or who you think you are. Because if you get more prideful because you have more money or something, you know, like, that's not great. But it's at the same exact token, it's not good to, if you lose everything, to be like, oh, well, I suck because I have nothing. No, you're still you. And so that's just kind of it. It's like, we cannot let our thoughts about ourselves solely be determined by our situations and our circumstances, especially the ones that we cannot control. And you know what? If you're in a situation and you don't like it, do what you can to change it. Because it's okay. I'm not saying that you should like love every situation that you're in or even appreciate every situation. I mean, a lot of people would say, you know, like if it hurts you, you can still learn from it, all that kind of stuff, which sure, absolutely. But I'm not even gonna take it that far. I'm just gonna say, like, if you're in a situation that you don't like, see what you can to change it. I mean, I'm sure that there's something, even if it's small, even if it's one little tiny little step, there's something. And so while you're not letting it get to you to the core of your being, in like a negative way or in a prideful way, even if it's the opposite, it still is okay to be like, I'm in this situation sucks, I'm still me, I don't want to be in this situation, so what can I do to change it? And that's just kind of it. If you are in a situation that you don't like an outside situation that you don't like, I'm so sorry. And I really do hope that there's some kind of small first step that you can take to change your situation. Because it's important to enjoy our lives and to do good things. If you're in a negative brain space that you don't like, I hope that you're also seeing if you could take steps to change that as well. It's very difficult, but it's definitely possible. It might not be the way that you initially planned. It might not be the way that other people around you are doing it or have done it. It might not be even the way that you've already done it in the past. It might take a lot longer than you think. It might take shorter than you think. It's almost definitely going to be really, really hard. But it's definitely possible to change your outside situation, and it's definitely possible to change your mindset. It's terrifying, but it's possible. And so I hope that you can be like, yo, I can be strong, and I'm gonna be strong, and I'm going to do what I can and work as hard as I can to have the internal life that I want and the situations I want. Because again, it's totally, I think that it's good to work towards things that you want, to work towards outside situations that you want. I just don't think it's good to let that 100% control how you feel about yourself. But I absolutely think that it's really important to work hard to get what you want and to do what you think is best. I don't mean to get what you want in terms of whatever. I mean like to do what's really, really best. I think that's important. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you like these kind of videos, let me know in the comments. I can absolutely do more. And subscribe if you're not already. And I hope that you're having a wonderful day. I love you. Jesus loves you. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.